I had no clue what I was going to cook for dinner. However, I knew it was going to be good and I knew it wasn't going to taste the same. Amen. I know y'all get tired of grabbing the same few seasonings every time it's time to cook dinner. I started off by boiling the chicken with just hot water and some Shaoxing wine. Once that came to a boil, I did skim the impurities out of the water. It was also a quick boil, like no more than 5 minutes. Two purposes in this method: to skim the impurities and to tenderize the chicken. Definitely got tired of chopping, so I tried to do like a quick mince and then it turned into like a puree, so I said might as well keep going. Again, keep in mind I have no idea what I'm about to make, but I do know I'm going to use some of this orange seasoning, you know, like green seasoning. I noticed my chicken was a little light skinned, so I wanted to brown it, right? Not like stew browning, because we just had stew. Since I used the Shaoxing wine, I did want to stay with the Asian seasonings, kinda, so I added some gochujang. Gochujang is both sweet and spicy, so I wanted to combine that with the brown sugar until it got thickened and bubbled. Now that it is caramelized, I'm going to go ahead and add in the chicken. Yes, with no seasons. Like I said, I don't know where I'm going with this yet, so I got to take it easy. Did know I didn't want anything to burn, so I went ahead and immediately flipped the chicken once I got it all in there. Once it was flipped, I went ahead and added in the orange seasoning, which is all the peppers you see me chop and slice. Again, going with the kind of Asian vibe, I did want the ginger sliced kind of thinly. Use some more wine to go ahead and deglaze the pan before I added in my seasoning. I'll tell you what seasons I use, but I want you to experiment with some seasons. Get you some seasonings, put you some EVOO in there and give it a stir. Now, I don't have any chicken broth or stock, but I wanted some because I decided to go ahead and do a gravy with this meal. Instead of using water, I'm going to go ahead and add that same water I would have used to the chicken so I can go ahead and render it for the gravy. Initially, when you see me chopping the veggies, it was for a seasoning, like a fresh seasoning. This set of veggies would be for my aromatics, as I have garlic and cilantro, as well as an orange sweet chili pepper. Once that oil cap gets to the top of my skillet, I do like to go ahead and render whatever I'm going to use for the gravy. That is a good sign that your meal is almost done. Once I removed some of the broth, I did go ahead and top it with brown sugar and the aromatics that we chopped earlier. Do like a hint of jalapeno. This meal was nowhere near spicy. You can tell by the way the chicken was looking once I flipped it that it wasn't getting the color that I wanted to, so I went ahead and added some honey right on top. Let it sit there for a little while, flipped it, and then left it alone. Did put the lid on, but because my lid did not fit perfectly, I did have to keep on checking on it. Otherwise, all your broth and everything else is gonna boil over. Anywho, let's get into this cauliflower. We like to waste not, want not, so we gonna cut the cauliflower how it's supposed to be cut. It's crazy how vegetables come with instructions. If you just follow the path, you're gonna cut it perfectly and the leaves will snap off perfectly as well. If you don't cut it, then all those little bits you see on my cutting board is gonna be plenty more where that came from. Typically, I just buy my cauliflower in a bag, not the frozen kind, but just the kind in the fresh aisle, you know what I'm saying? But according to my calculation, this head of cauliflower was cheaper, so you know what I did. That's right, went along ahead and got it.
Is very generous amount. I usually some garlic powder. Now when I cook, I guess I don't be paying attention to these shows. Let me see.
If you could focus and come.
I didn't get that far.
Well,
red jalapeno garlic.
I like ATV, but not
too much. And if you want it to go evenly, you want to shake up higher, so not down here, up here.
Especially in some.
Okay. A little bit of onion powder.
I said I was watching a movie. It was not a porno. I know
higher, so
you
go evenly. Only have a little bit.
I wasn't thinking that though.
Once it's almost done, I'm going to add some brown sugar on top, but not right now. Or maybe I should.
No. You came from
Maybe that will
it sounded like
caramelize
something
it.
falling or someone. I opened my door there.
I like a sweet, savory type
I
of
don't know.
ordeal. So not a lot,
9:57.
just that much.
9:57.
If that's a lot, okay.
I have a clock.
Okay.
That is a clock.
On this corner, I'm going to add some of this hot chili oil. Not to everybody's.
I even tried to get a little something going. He was
One side.
unresponsive.
Some of us like
Which was
spicy.
not unusual.
Some of us
though. I
don't.
mean, I did
Some of us
marry.
not gonna eat it. Start it off with some oil. When that's ready, I'm gonna pour in these veggies. Same veggies I used with the chicken.
Because
I didn't even turn on the Lord.
Now, when it comes to gravy, don't be scared of it. It's just you can use whatever veggies you want first, like saute them and then add in some flour. Now, I did eyeball it, and you can eyeball it too, okay? It doesn't matter how much flour you use. You use as much flour as you want to make the gravy. The more flour you use, the more gravy you'll have. Now, that chicken broth that we rendered from the chicken, that's what I'm going to pour in here first. You should definitely use a whisk, but I'm not putting no whisk in this non-skillet pan. You understand? Now, unless your whisk is silicone, you shouldn't either. The pot in the back is actually chicken stock that I needed for another meal that I'm making. Very simple seasonings. I just used some chicken bouillon, garlic powder, and pepper.
Just try to talk to you properly. Thank every guest for coming and ask them if they know. Fine. Why not?
One of my favorite songs right there. Amen.
It wasn't. Entertaining story. No. After he hung up. Have they moved the body? Out the front. It's to come out the front. What are in one place?
Why? Thank for someone like the
Earlier that way that they connected the odd one.
Exactly. Who would realize that she needed this time and then she could